Hey everybody, welcome to Code Word Week. Every day this week I'll be dropping a new video about the concept of code words and how that can help us keep our families safe. Now, a code word is any word or phrase that means something to people who've been told about it differently or greater than what it means in the regular language. For example, the code word Operation Overlord in World War II meant the incredible, complicated system of troop displacements, material movements, orders, ideas, concepts, strategies, and tactics for the beginning of the invasion of Europe to take it away from the Nazis. Another example, although it's not as formal, is most of us who are married know that there's a word that our spouse uses, whether it's just fine or I don't want to talk about it right now, that actually means it's not fine at all or they're going to talk to you about it a whole lot. So that's the concept of a code word. And over this week, we're going to talk about different kinds of code words and how they can help us keep our families safe. For today, I want to talk about what is probably the most common kind of code word you have heard about in the context of family safety. Now, that's the one where you tell your kid a code word for if you have to send a stranger to pick them up from school or from practice or from their piano lessons. This is common advice you get from a lot of journalism, even a few police officers. And I'm sure you've heard about it, and many families have that. The problem is, nobody knowledgeable will tell you that that works. Trouble being that with a kid who's young enough that they need to have that kind of situation, they're not going to remember the code word. And it's been proven again and again in testing that they don't remember the code word specifically or even the concept of a code word when somebody comes up and says, hey, your parents sent me to get you. They're young. They don't have that much cognitive ability on those kinds of things, just developmentally. And also you have to understand that if someone comes up and says, your parents sent me to get you, that's going to scare your kid. It's going to put your kid into a mental state where they're not going to remember those higher order cognitive things like remembering that a code word exists, that they're supposed to pay attention to a code word, and then what that code word is. It reliably doesn't work. So in this particular code word video, we're telling you not to use a code word. But what do you do instead? And the answer to that is very simple. You sit down with your kid and you tell your child, even kindergarten age, they can understand this because it's simple and it's easy to understand. You tell them that you will never, ever, ever send someone they don't know to pick them up. Ever. Under any circumstances. Because let's think about it really. This code word idea is for if you are in a situation where you need to send somebody your kid doesn't know to pick them up from school or from practice or from a piano lesson or karate class. How deep would an emergency rabbit hole have to go that somebody your kid doesn't know would be somebody you asked to go get them? If the situation is that dire, is that crazy, chances are that there's a general breakdown of one sort or another and your kid is actually safer just staying at school or hanging out with coach. So for those situations, eliminate this code word entirely and just sit down and let your kid know that you will never, ever, ever send somebody they don't know to pick them up. Even the youngest kids can understand that rule because it's simple and there are no exceptions. So that's about code words today. Tomorrow we'll talk about another kind of code word and we'll keep talking about code words in one way or another all week long. Thank you for listening today. Stay safe, everybody.